This doctor froze himself 30 times to save your life. Imagine the shock. 1 second you're on solid ground. The next, you're plunged into dark, bitingly cold water. Your body seizes up. Your lungs are screaming for air. Every single instinct tells you to panic. For thousands of people every year, this isn't a hypothetical. It's the last experience they ever have. And the reason they die is almost never what you think it is. So, what if the key to surviving this nightmare wasn't your strength, how well you can swim, or even your will to live? What if it was just a simple set of 3 numbers, a simple rule figured out by one man who was willing to freeze himself over and over again, more than 30 times, just to find it? This is the story of how a doctor nicknamed Professor Popsicle tore down the deadliest myths about cold water and gave the rest of us a fighting chance. When you picture someone dying in cold water, what do you see? You probably imagine a long, drawn-out fight against the elements, shivering that turns uncontrollable, a slow drift into confusion and unconsciousness. You're thinking of hypothermia, and for decades, that was the official story. The fear of freezing to death shaped every piece of advice given to anyone who worked or played near the water. But there was a terrifying problem that just didn't add up. Autopsies on cold water drowning victims kept revealing a startling fact. Most of them weren't hypothermic at all. A British government report found that over half of all open water deaths happened within just 10 feet of safety. People were drowning yards, sometimes inches, from a dock, a boat, or the shore. People who were excellent swimmers were drowning almost instantly. This wasn't a slow, creeping freeze. This was something else, something faster, and way more violent. The data all pointed to one grim conclusion. Something was killing people in the first few minutes, long before their body temperature ever had a chance to drop. The greatest danger of cold water wasn't the cold itself, but the body's catastrophic reaction to. This is where Dr. Gordon Giesbrecht enters the story. As a professor of thermophysiology at the University of Manitoba, Dr. Giesbrecht was, let's say, uniquely obsessed with how the human body reacts to extreme cold. While other scientists were hesitant to push research to its limits, Giesbrecht believed that to truly understand the killer, you had to face it head-on. They called him Professor Popsicle, and he absolutely earned that name. He became his own main test subject, willingly plunging his body into a state of hypothermia again and again. He'd sit in tanks of near-freezing water until his core temperature dropped to dangerously low levels. In one experiment, he even had a colleague pump a gallon of near-frozen saline right into his bloodstream just to study internal cooling. As he put it, "I'm the scientist who does things for real, to make sure I really know what I'm talking about." Through these harrowing self-experiments, and later with volunteers in what he called his cold water boot camp, he started to piece together the truth. He'd put volunteers into freezing 42-degree water and just watch. What he found would rewrite survival manuals all over the world. He confirmed that in icy water, it takes at least 30 minutes for a person to become dangerously hypothermic. This led him to his most famous and most chilling quote, "Most people who die in cold water die either immediately or very shortly after, but they are not hypothermic." He proved that the real enemy wasn't the slow crawl of hypothermia. It was a rapid 3-act tragedy. And by giving it a name and a timeline, he also gave us a way to fight back. Dr. Giesbrecht boiled down his decades of brutal, freezing research into a beautifully simple rule, a mantra that anyone can remember in a moment of pure panic. The 1-10-1 principle. It's not a guarantee, it's a plan. It's designed to turn panic into a procedure, and it's broken into 3 critical phases. This is the single most dangerous part of the whole ordeal. The instant you hit cold water, we're talking water below 59 degrees or 15 degrees, your body revolts. You experience an immediate, uncontrollable gasp for air. If your head is underwater when that happens, you drown. It is that simple. That gasp is followed by hyperventilation, where your breathing rate can spike by 1000%. You can't control it. Your ability to hold your breath plummets from over a minute to less than 10 seconds. Your blood vessels clamp down, and your heart rate and blood pressure go through the roof, putting a massive strain on your heart. This first minute is just a battle to control your airway. Your only job is to fight the urge to panic, stay afloat, and keep your mouth out of the water. Don't try to swim, don't try to scream. Just focus on one thing, getting your breathing under control. After about 60 seconds, this initial shock will start to fade. Okay, you made it through the initial shock. Your breathing is ragged, but it's stabilizing. Now, a new clock starts ticking. Over the next 10 minutes, you'll start to experience what's called cold incapacitation. The icy water is rapidly cooling the nerves and muscles in your arms and legs. You will progressively lose the use of your fingers, then your hands, and then your larger limbs. This is your window of opportunity. You have about 10 minutes to make a move that could save your life. This is the time to try and rescue yourself, to swim for the boat, climb onto whatever is floating, or grab a rescue line. If you have a whistle or a flare, now is the time to use it, before your fingers become clumsy and useless. If you can't get out, this is the time to get into a position that will help you survive until rescue arrives. Because after this 10-minute window closes, you likely won't be able to swim or even tread water. Without a life jacket, this is often the point of no return. Only now, after you've survived the cold shock and passed the window for self-rescue, does the enemy you always expected, hypothermia, finally take center stage. Assuming you are wearing a life jacket or holding on to something that floats and keeping your head clear of the water, you still have time. Even in ice-cold water, it can take around 1 hour before you become unconscious from hypothermia. This is a revolutionary piece of information. It shatters the myth that you will freeze to death in minutes. It tells you that even after you've lost the ability to move, even after an hour has gone by, you are still alive. You are still rescuable. Knowing this can be the difference between giving up and holding on just long enough for help to arrive. The 1-10-1 rule is a mental tool, but it's basically useless without the right physical tools. And the single most important piece of gear, stressed by Dr. Geisbrecht and every other cold water expert, is a life jacket, or a personal flotation device, PFD. A PFD is what gets you through that brutal first minute. It keeps your head up when that gasp reflex kicks in. It's what keeps you floating during the 10 minutes of incapacitation when your arms and legs stop working. And it's what keeps your airway clear for that critical hour as hypothermia sets in, even if you pass out. Without a life jacket, the 1-10-1 rule is just a timetable for drowning. With one, it's a blueprint for survival. The second key is your clothing. Contrary to old survival myths, you should never take off your clothes in the water. They act as a layer of insulation by trapping water against your skin. Your own body heat then warms that trapped water, giving you a crucial thermal barrier against the cold. Pulling your cuffs and collar tight can make this even more effective. Finally, if you can't get out of the water, get into the HELP position. That's heat escape lessening posture. Pull your knees to your chest and hug them, keeping your arms to your sides. This protects the high heat loss areas of your body and can seriously delay the onset of hypothermia. The work of Dr. Geisbrecht and his willingness to become Professor Popsicle gave us this life-saving knowledge, but it's only powerful if people actually know about it. So, the most important thing you can do right now is share this video. Send it to a friend who boats, a family member who fishes, or anyone you know who spends time near the water. You might just save a life. And if you want to understand more of the science that keeps us alive in wild situations, make sure you subscribe. The terror of cold water is real. The moment it hits your skin, it feels like a death sentence. But Dr. Geisbrecht proved that it doesn't have to be. He showed us that the first enemy isn't the cold, it's panic. And by replacing that panic with a plan, he gave us power. 1 minute to control your breathing, 10 minutes for meaningful movement, and 1 hour before hypothermia takes over. 1-10-1. 3 simple numbers. A gift from a doctor who froze himself so you might not have to. Remember them. They could save your life. Use a male voice for the narrator.